Brave CF50, 17 total fights on the entire fight card. That is absolutely insane. In the main event for the PCF welterweight belt, Ismail Nardiv is taking on the reigning champion in Ruar Hussein Al-Silawai for the welterweight belt. In the co-main event, we have Mohamed Fakhruddin and Mohamed Saimalem on this fight for the light heavyweight belt. We have Ali Bagontinov and Dustin Ortiz in a flyweight fight. We have Zach Mikowski on the fight card. We have Brakaton on the fight card. We have Magomedov on the fight card. We have so many amazing fighters on the fight card and amazing fights that are on the fight card. I mean, 17 total fights on the fight card. That is absolutely insane. Just look right here. The first fight of the night, Abdulmanap Magomedov and Glenn McVeigh. Glenn McVeigh is going to go out there and try to get a submission in the first or second round. Abdulmanap Magomedov is going to go out there and try to get a KO, TKO, or maybe even a submission. He's just such a big fighter for the featherweight division. Has so much power in his hands. Has really good takedown defense. Has really good submission skills. And has a lot of power in his hands. If you guys don't already know that, Abdulmanap Magomedov is going to win the fight. I mean, Glenn McVeigh is 0-2 as a professional fighter. Abdulmanap Magomedov, I think he's going to get his second win inside of Brave Sieve in the fight. I think he's going to get a KO or TKO in the first or second round. I'm going to say second round. That's going to be a really good fight right there. Either Glenn McVeigh by submission in the first or second round, or Abdulmanap Magomedov is going to get a KO or TKO in the first or second round. After that, we have an amazing striker, and then we have an amazing grappler right here. Both fighters have really good striking. Valor Mercia has like 9 knockouts on his record, 12 submissions on his record, and then Omar Salomonov has 8 knockouts on his record, and then 1 submission on his record. No decisions. His losses, his wins, none of those fights have gone all the way, which is absolutely insane. He has been submitted twice in his career. Valor Mercia has 12 submissions in his professional career. He has a grappling advantage. In the striking game, it's probably pretty even. Maybe give a slight edge to Omar Salomonov, but because Valor Mercia has a little bit of a grappling advantage, has a little bit of a wrestling advantage, I'm probably going to go with Mercia to win the fight by submission in the first or second round. After that, we have Rustam Chasiev and Brendan Lazar. Don't even really need to look at this one. Rustam Chasiev is like 35, almost 36 years old. Brendan Lazar in the prime of his career. His only loss coming to Zuzuski double SCs. I mean, the man's an absolute beast. I don't know if he's going to get a KO, TKO, or a submission in the fight. I'm just going to say he's going to get a finish in the first or second round. Absolute domination right here. After that, this one is going to end by finish 100%. Anton is an absolute beast. The guy has 6 wins and 0 losses, 4 knockout wins and 2 submission wins. The consistency is a lot of. If you look at how he wins his fights, 5 wins and 1 loss. First knockout win, and then a couple decision wins right there. So he's more of a striker. Both guys are more strikers in their fights. I think this fight is gonna stay in the feet, and one guy is gonna get a first or second round knockout in the fight. But because Anton Turkalj, I mean, he has so much power in his hands, I think he's gonna land that one shot. Probably in the second round of the fight. I think it's going to be an amazing TKO win for him in the fight. That's going to be an amazing fight. I 100% expect the fight to end in the first or second round. After that, Maciek Zuzuski, if I'm saying the name correctly, has 7 knockout wins on his record. Let's check right here. He has 7 professional wins and 6 losses. Right here, 7 KO and TKO wins, 5 submission losses and 1 decision loss. His opponent, Felipe Silva, 9 wins and 4 losses, 7 knockout wins and 1 submission and 1 decision. Both fighters have so much power in their hands. I mean, both fighters, most of their wins are coming by finish, by mostly KO and TKO. I 100% expect this fight to be a KO TKO for one of these guys in the fight. But Felipe Silva is getting up there in his age. He's like 36 years old. Maciek Zuzuski, if I'm saying the name correctly, is much younger in his career, has a lot more power than Felipe Silva. In my opinion, has a little bit better striking, a little bit better wrestling, a little bit better grappling. Overall, he's the better fighter, and I think he's gonna land a nice shot in the fight and win the fight by first or second round TKO. And so far, guys, literally every single one, KO TKO in the second round, KO TKO in the second round, KO TKO in the second round, submission in the second round, then KO TKO in the second round. All my predictions so far have been finishes. So this fight card is going to be a really exciting fight card. And guys, we've Amin Ayub, the reigning lightweight champion, inside of Brave Sieve. The man is an absolute beast, 15 wins and 4 losses. His last fight, was for the BCF Lightweight Championship. He was a challenger in the fight, fought Clayton Silva, and won the fight by 4th round knockout. The man is an absolute beast. Third round submission, second round submission, first round submission, submission, knockout. 8 knockout wins, or 8 submission wins, sorry, 3 knockout wins, and 5 decision wins. His opponent, I'm not gonna say the name, I'm sorry, I can't really pronounce the name, but he's 25 years old. His first fight, instead of Bert Shirt, 5 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. I mean, come on, dude. Amin Ayub is a reigning lightweight champion. The other guy does not have any fights instead of Bert Shirt. Amin Ayub is an absolute beast. So I think he's gonna finish the fight mainly by submission in the first round. I think that was gonna be an absolute domination right there. Pretty simply, I'm going to go with Magomedov to win the fight by submission in the first or second round. He has 4 wins and 0 losses. His opponent, Jan Liase, also has 4 wins and 0 losses. A lot of people are saying he's going to win the fight by unanimous decision. If you look at Magomedov, his last 2 fights by first round knockout and first round triangle submission. I think he either wins the fight by first round triangle submission or the fight goes all the way, and Magomedov ends up winning the fight by unanimous decision. I'm going to say this one's going to be the first one that goes all the way. I'm going with Magomedov to win this fight by unanimous decision. And then after that, Shoaib Youssef versus Steven Goncalves. This fight is a featherweight fight. A very interesting featherweight fight right here. 7 wins and 2 losses. And 6 wins and 2 losses. Shoaib Youssef, 7 wins and 2 losses. Rear next to submission, first knockout win, decision win. First round knockout win, decision win. The man is an absolute beast. 4 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 1 decision win. His 2 losses coming by decision as an amateur. No losses as an amateur. 5 wins coming by KO, TKO as an amateur fighter. 2 submission wins and 3 decision wins. I mean, the man's an absolute beast. Steven Goncalves, 6 wins and 2 losses. If you look at how he wins his fights, 4 submission wins and 1 knockout win and 1 decision win. I mean, he's mainly the grappler in the fight. He's gonna look to get the fight on the ground as soon as possible and go for a lot of submissions in the fight. But man, his opponent also has really good submission skills, has really good takedown defense, has really good takedowns of his own. I mean, obviously he's gonna have the striking advantage over Steven Goncalves in the fight. So overall, wherever the fight goes, I think this one's gonna go all the way. I don't really suspect a finish from either fight in the fight. I think the fight's gonna go all the way, and Shoaib Youssef is gonna win the fight by unanimous decision. And then after that, Bert Shirt and Alexander Kashev. This fight is probably a closer fight on the fight card. A very, very interesting fight right here in the bantamweight division. Alexander Kashev coming off his first ever loss as a professional fighter in his last fight with Herbert Souza by unanimous decision. And guess what, guys? That was a fight in a main event right here. Sorry, it was right here for the bantamweight belt instead of Cage Fury Fighting Championship. And ended up losing the fight by unanimous decision. But he's a former Cage Fury Fighting Championship featherweight champion in the world. I mean, the man is an absolute beast. Has a really good striking. His opponent, Ben Schwepten, if I'm saying the name correctly, 9 wins and 3 losses, 5 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and then 1 decision wins. Alexander Kashev, 9 wins and 1 loss, 4 knockout wins and 1 submission win, and then 4 decision wins. I think this fight's going to go all the way. I think Alexander Kashev has a striking advantage. Bert Shirt maybe has a submission advantage, but does he have the wrestling advantage? And has the power advantage that Alexander Kashev does? I don't think so. I think Alexander Kashev is going to dominate the fight on the feet. Probably defend most of the takedowns from Bert Shirt in the fight and keep the fight on the feet for the most part. And I think the fight is going to go all the way. I'm going to have him win the fight by unanimous decision. After that, we have Carl Booth and Carlos Veloso. This fight is a 165-pound fight. I don't really know much about these two guys, but Carlos Veloso, I watched his last fight, and he looked really, really impressive. Even though he lost that fight about 2 years ago, it's Fabian Miranda. He looked really, really impressive. That was his last professional fight. 94% of the vote, or 94 different votes going for this fight. 63% going for Veloso to win the fight. Carlos Veloso, only 1 professional loss, 7 wins, and 1 loss. Every single one of this man's wins is coming by finish. 6 submission wins and 1 knockout win. His opponent, Carl Booth, 9 wins and 4 losses. If you look at how he wins his fights, 5 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. I think Carlos Veloso has a submission advantage, has a wrestling advantage over Carl Booth in the fight. Carl Booth maybe has a little bit of the power advantage, but I don't think we're going to see a finish in this fight. I think Carlos Veloso is going to go for takedown after takedown after takedown after takedown, get the fight to the ground, and go for submission after submission after submission. Carl Booth is going to try to get the fight on the feet, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think Carlos Veloso is going to get the fight on the ground as soon as possible and most likely win this fight by unanimous decision. After that, when we have Brad Katana and Borislav Nikolic. Borislav Nikolic is an undefeated fighter in the bantamweight division. 8 wins and 0 losses. Brad Katana, I'm gonna say right now, 8 wins and 2 losses, only 2 losses inside of the UFC to Merab Dvalishvili, a top 15 bantamweight fighter in the world. The 12th best bantamweight fighter in the world. Then he lost to an undefeated bantamweight fighter right here in Hunter Azur, the 53rd best bantamweight fighter in the world. Beat Bryce Mitchell, who I believe is a top 20 featherweight fighter in the world. He also beat Kyler Phillips, who is a top 20 bantamweight fighter in the world. I mean, the man is an absolute beast, has really good striking, and has a really, really good takedown defense. That is the perfect key to beat a guy like Borislav Nikolak, who has 8 wins and 0 losses. He finished a lot of his fights, 6 submission wins and 2 knockout wins as an amateur. Doesn't have any amateur fights, but guess what, guys? This fight is going to be really interesting because Borislav Nikolak usually in his fights tries to get the fight to the ground as soon as possible and goes for submissions, goes for the TKO. That is just what he does in all of his fights. But he's facing a guy like Brad Katana, who has really, really good takedown defense, has really good submission defense, and his striking is obviously going to be much better than Borislav Nikolak in the fight. I think the fight is going to stay on the feet. I don't suspect they finish. If there's going to be a finish in the fight, it would be a Borislav Nikolak winning the fight by submission, or Brad Katana getting a knockout in the fight. But I think the fight's going to go all the way. I think Brad Katana is going to defend most of the takedowns in the fight and keep the fight on the feet and win the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. And then after that one, we have a really, really good catchweight fight right here. Kevin Ruar and Louise Skillsman. This fight is a really, really interesting fight in the 175-pound division. Kevin Ruar, 9 wins and 3 losses. Louise Skillsman is 30 years old. I'm not really sure how old Kevin Ruar is, but he's 9 and 3 as a professional fighter. Every single one of his wins, except for one of those wins being a finish, 4 knockout wins and 4 submission wins. His losses, 2 knockout losses and 1 decision loss. His opponent, Louise Skillsman, 7 wins and 2 losses, 6 submission wins and 1 decision win. So this is a classic striker versus grappler fight. Obviously, Kevin Ruar is the striker in the fight, and Louise Skillsman is obviously the grappler in the fight. 89% going for Ruar to win the fight, mainly by KO, TKO, and then a lot of people have him winning the fight by unanimous decision. But for this fight, I think it's either going to be a submission for Louise Skillsman in the first or second round, or Kevin Ruar win the fight by first round knockout, or the fight goes all the way and Kevin Ruar wins the fight by unanimous decision. But I'm going with Ruar to win the fight by KO or TKO, probably in the second round. That is my opinion for that fight right there. And then we have an amazing 165-pound fight right here. This fight is a really, really good fight right here. 20 wins and 6 losses, and then 6 wins and 1 loss. He tabloid predictions, 77% going for Grabinski to win the fight. I mean, he's only 29 and a half years old with 26 professional fights. I mean, that is absolutely insane. 11 knockout wins, so 4 submission wins, and 5 decision wins. His opponent, Isa Isakov, I'm sorry, I mispronounced his name right there. Has 4 knockout wins and 1 submission win, and then 1 decision win. I'm going to say right now, KO TKO in the first or second round, or KO TKO in the first or second round. Both guys have so much power in their hands, but Mohamed Grabinski has way too much power in his hands. He has so much experience, 26 professional fights. That is absolutely insane. So I'm going to go with him to win the fight by second round KO or TKO. This one right here is really, really interesting. This fight is actually a rematch between Velimurad Alikasov and Zach Mikalski. This fight is a flyweight fight. The last time they fought, he actually ended up losing the fight by split decision around 1 year ago. It was a really, really close fight this time. I mean, Zach Mikalski is 37, almost 38 years old. Had a lot of good fights inside the UFC, but Velimurad Alikasov, his only loss coming to Zach Mikalski. I mean, in the later rounds of that fight, he kind of tried to turn the fight around, and he looked really, really good in the fight. It was a split decision loss, and his only professional loss in the fight. But Velimurad Alikasov is an absolute beast. 7 wins and 1 loss. 2 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and 4 decision wins. I'm saying this fight's going to go all the way. I think one of these two guys is going to win the fight by unanimous decision. I could go with the veteran Zach Mikalski to win the fight by unanimous decision. But I'm sorry, I'm going Velimurad Alikasov to win the fight in the rematch in this one, probably by unanimous decision. I think the striking of Velimurad Alikasov, even the grappling and the wrestling, overall, wherever the fight goes, he's just a better fighter. I just don't think we're going to see a finish from either fighter in the fight. I think the fight's going to go all the way, and that Velimurad Alikasov is going to win the fight by unanimous decision. Ali Bagantinov and Dustin Ortiz. This one is interesting. I'm going to say it right now. I'm probably going to go with Dustin Ortiz just because he's a much younger fighter. If Ali Bagantinov was 32 years old, 31 years old, something like that, I'd probably go with Ali Bagantinov to win the fight because he's 35, almost 36 years old. Dustin Ortiz has so much experience inside the UFC. Fought Joseph Benavidez, beat Matthews Nikolai, beat Alexander Pantoja, beat Hector Sandoval, beat Zach Mikalski, who's also on this fight card, fought Jussier Formiga, Brandon Moreno. I mean, the man is an absolute beast. Ali Bagantinov is also an absolute beast. 19 wins and 7 losses. I mean, both fighters are absolute beasts. I think the fight is going to stay on the feet. I think one of these two guys is going to win the fight by unanimous decision. And I'm sorry, Ali Bagantinov, just because you're kind of getting up there in your age. If you were a little bit younger, I would 100% go for you to win this fight by unanimous decision. But because you are 36, almost 37 years old, I'm going with Dustin Ortiz to win this fight by unanimous decision. After that, in the co-main event, Mohamed Fakhreddin and Mohamed Seinfeld in a 5-round co-main event. This one is going to be a finish. I'm going to say right now, for the light heavyweight belt, is going to be a finish, and it's pretty obvious who's going to get the finish in the fight. Mohamed Saimalem is going to get a KO or TKO in the first or second round, in my opinion. And then the main event, I'm going to say right now, Ismail Nardiv is going to win the fight. The man is an absolute beast. 20 wins and 4 losses. His only loss coming at the beginning of his career. After that, first round knockout, first round submission win, first round knockout, TKO win, first round knockout, second round submission win, second round knockout win, first round knockout win, lost 1 fight. Got a first round spinning wheel kick knockout. A first knockout win, joined the UFC in 2019. Got a decision win over Michael Prazeres. Lost 1 fight to Chancellor Country by unanimous decision. Got 1 fight by unanimous decision. Then fought Sean Brady and lost a fight by unanimous decision. Gosh dang, man. This man, he's just such a beast. 11 knockout wins, 5 submission wins, and 4 decision wins. He has so much experience as a featherweight, as a welterweight, as a lightweight fighter. He is just an absolute beast. Durahu Sainaswedi, 50 wins and 3 losses. 5 knockout wins, 5 submission wins, and 5 decision wins. I think this fight is going to stay on the feet. I think one of these two guys is going to get a knockout in the first, second, or third round. And I think that man is going to be Ismail Nardiv. I think this one's going to end probably in the 4th or 3rd round by KO or TKO. Should be a really, really good fight right here. I'm going to say 3rd round. So those are my predictions. In the main event, I have Nardiv winning the fight by KO, TKO in the 3rd round. In the co-main event, I have Mohamed Saimalem winning his fight by KO, TKO in the 2nd round. I have Dustin Ortiz winning his fight by unanimous decision. I have Alex Cobb winning his fight by unanimous decision. I have Grabinski winning his fight by KO, TKO in the 2nd round. I have Ruar winning his fight by KO, TKO in the 2nd round. I have Brian Katana winning his fight by unanimous decision. I have Veloso winning his fight by unanimous decision. I have Kestab winning his fight by unanimous decision. I have Yusab winning his fight by unanimous decision. I have Magomedov winning his fight by unanimous decision. Then a lot of finishes right here. I have Ayub winning his fight by submission in the very first round. I have Masiek winning his fight by KO TKO in the 2nd round. I have Turkoj winning his fight by KO or TKO in the 1st or 2nd round. I have Lazar winning his fight by KO TKO in the 2nd round. I have Murcia winning his fight by submission in the 2nd round. I have Magomedov winning his fight by KO TKO in the 2nd round. Oh my god, there's so many fights on the fight card. Jesus. Brave CF50, so many amazing fights on the fight card. But that is my full card prediction for Brave CF50. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here. Let's go.